Limmy's World of Glasgow. Xander.
I was having a wee walk through Kelvin Grove Park, and I got to the point where I was walking past the skate park that's in the park, and I was watching all these young boys, all these young men, going up and down in their BMXs, their skateboards, their rollerblades, their roller skates. Couldn't keep my eyes off them. Beautiful boys, nice hair, nice and rough, ripped denims, really up for it. I thought I wouldn't mind one of them for myself. So I walked up and I stood next to the edge of the skate park, you know, where they all just jump off at the side and things. I said to one guy, a blonde guy, I says, "Can I get a shot of your skateboards?" He says, "I'd rather not." I says, "That's okay, that's fine." And off he went, skating about. Somebody came up with a BMX, off they went. I'm not interested in BMX, it was the skateboard I was wanting a shot of, because I had a wee plan in mind. Another guy, another really good looking boy, about 18 or something. I says, really good looking, I says, "Can I get a shot at your skateboard? Just a wee shot, I'm not looking to steal it, I've never had a shot on a skateboard." He says, "Yeah, okay man." I thought, listen to that, he sounds like an American. So I says, right, I'm not going down there and amongst all that, right, I just want a wee shot here, right? And I walked away from him just a few paces with the skateboard in my hands. I put it down. I said, "What's your name?" He said, "Aaron." I says, "Right Aaron, here goes." I gave it a shot, right? Gave myself a few wee pushes on it, and then I kicked it back and I ran into his arms. Like, oh my god, I nearly broke my neck there. He's like, "Oh, it's okay man." And I've just had a wee squeeze of him. I didn't want to make it too obvious, just a wee squeeze. I says, "Can I have another shot?" He says, "Yeah, on you go man." I says, "Is your girlfriend's about here, aye?" He says, "I've not got a girlfriend." I says, "You're looking for a girlfriend?" He says, "Well, I suppose so." I says, "So you're straight?" He went, "Aye." I says, "That's good." I thought, just checking. So I went back another few paces and I just done the exact same thing again. I just gave myself a wee push and then I kicked it back, deliberately. And I ran into his arms, I just crashed into his arms. I said, "Oh my god, I've done it again. I'm hopeless at this." He says, "No, I think you're getting the hang of it." I says, "Oh, you're a liar." I had a wee laugh with him. So I kept it up for another 10 minutes. It was starting to turn to dusk. And I thought, right, I've got to go in for the kill here. So I tried another wee bit of skating. And then I really went for it. I kicked the board right back and I made sure I came right down on my knee. Hard enough for it to look bad, but no too hard that I really was actually injured. I said, "Oh my god, oh what have I done to myself?" He said, "Oh, let me help you," and he came down and he lifted me up and all that. A right gentleman for an 18-year-old. A right gentleman. I says, "Oh Christ, do you stay near here, Aaron? Can I just head back to yours and sit on the couch for a bit?" If he was a bit older, he'd find some excuse and he would say, "Well, no, I can't really do that, mate. I don't really know you." But he's a stupid teenager. He says, "Yeah, okay, man." Really eager to help out. So in we went to his flat, said hello to his flatmates and just headed straight into his room. I just hands it up. I said, "I need to take these denims off, Aaron. I'm sorry, I need to take these off. It's hurting that much." So I took the denims off. It didn't even make any sense. But I took them off and I lay back on the bed. I says, "Gonna give that a rub?" He says, "Oh, come on, you can rub it yourself from there." I says, "Oh, come on, you scared to touch a gay guy? Do you think I'm gonna give you AIDS or something?" And because he's a stupid student, he didn't even question it. He's just thinking, "Oh, I don't want to be prejudiced." So there he's rubbing my leg. And I'm lying back just going, "Oh, that's good." I get the rub to lead to a massage. I get my massage to lead to a massage on him. And before you know it, after a big conversation about all the music he listens to and who's gay in it and how it's part of growing up to experiment, we're lying there on the bed and I'm kissing him up and down. I just said, "Lie back on your back and let me kiss you." What's gay about that? I'm kissing him up and down, he's just lying back with his eyes closed, shivering. I was just like, "Relax, it's alright." Kissing his forehead, a wee peck on his lips, down to his chest, cupping his balls, kissing between his thighs, giving his feet a wee tickle, just to relax him. My cock was brick hard. At the side of the bed, I noticed he had some Vaseline. for his skateboard, for the ball bearings or something like that. I picked it up. I put it on my cock. This is while his eyes were closed. I rubbed it on my cock. I says, right skater, 180. He said, what? I said, you heard me. Day a 180. He said, what do you mean? I said, shows your ass. I started getting a wee bit nasty with him because I could tell he's just ready for backing out. And he done a 180. He didn't do it like you would do it in the skate park. It wasn't a wee leap in the air and a wee flick around and then he was on his other side. He was just turning around dead slowly, a wee bit scared, no sure of what he was doing was right. But I didn't care. It felt wrong, it felt right, all at the same time. It took me a couple of minutes to finally get it up him, and then it was all systems are go. Then I started getting a bit adventurous. I says, right, come here. Put him on top of his skateboard, and I just straddled him, just started pumping away, moving him back on his skateboard. I noticed there was another skateboard. I says, right, get down on your hands and knees. Put your left horn and left knee on the left skateboard. Put your right horn and your right knee on the right skateboard. And he done it. And I just pumped away, sliding him back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Got to the tickle a bit. Ready to come, pulled it out and spunked in his crash helmet. I was like that, good lord. Wiped myself down, got my clothes on, ready to leave. He says, will I see you again? I says, no offence Aaron, but I'm not interested in poofs. How did Avril Lavigne say it? He was a skater boy, I said, see you later boy. And I rolled on out of there.